What's up, you guys? Sean Ross Sapp here for the Wrestling Inc. podcast, March 21st edition, 2 weeks before WrestleMania. I am joined by a man who defeated Ric Flair 3 times in 2 weeks, my friends. Vince Russo. How you doing,
Bro,
Vince?
is that accurate?
I looked it up. I actually looked it up tonight. I was
Very
looking
nice.
up. I came across it. I was looking up AJ Styles' record, and I saw that you were a former tag team partner of AJ Styles.
Was I?
In TNA. They say it's your last recorded match.
Was it a straight up tag? Was it a 6-man?
I think it was a straight up tag against maybe the Rhodes. Let me check it out real quick.
I bet you it was Dusty and Jeff. I bet you, Jared.
I think it was. Let's see here. Yeah, Dusty and Jeff. A little fun fact: that's the only match that it says that you actually lost.
Yeah, I was on a long run. I was undefeated in WCW. I think me and David beat Rick and his son.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then 5 days, that was on Thunder. 5 days later, you beat Rick on Nitro, it says, in a steel cage match.
Steel cage, man. That's where I got a really bad concussion.
Oh, gosh. And knowing what we know about concussions now, that's
Bro,
terrifying.
Not only that, I got a concussion like early on in the match, and I had to climb to the top of that cage, bro. Like something bad could have happened.
And then it says 1 week later that yourself and David Flair defeated Ric Flair in a handicap match.
Yeah.
I
owned Flair, bro. I owned him.
Also, you have defeated Jeff Jarrett, Scott Steiner, Booker T, Goldberg, Sting, Dusty Rhodes, Road Warrior Animal, and Hawk. Good Lord, Vince Russo.
Bro, they're talking about being in 6-man matches and stuff. That. Yeah.
Absolutely. Handicap triple cage war games matches.
I remember
and
that
8-person
one.
tags.
Yeah.
Indeed.
I think Kevin Nash got me out of the cage with my life on that one. I think.
Indeed, but as you all can see, Raj isn't with us tonight. He has the night off, so to speak. Vince, we are 2 weeks away from WrestleMania. Could you tell it by this show?
Sean, I'm going to tell you something. I put something over early in the match, right? And Road Dogg put a tweet out there to me, and Road Dogg said, something to the effect of, oh, Vinny Roo, you better not put anything over, because you might lose your followers. So in other words, what Road Dogg is referring to is I bury everything. I'm begging Road Dogg, outside of the 2 Shane McMahon Undertaker packages, I'm begging Road Dogg to please clue me in on what I was supposed to put over on tonight's show. Now, Sean, I know you liked Owens and AJ. I'm not a match guy. I always say that. So I can understand you liking that match and cool. But outside of that, what would warrant me putting over?
It's hard for me to think of anything on this show.
I mean, honestly, what, bro? The opening in ring was so freaking flat. Vince's in ring was so freaking flat. The finish was so freaking flat of the night. I just, somebody needs to tell me what I should be putting over, because maybe I'm just not seeing it, bro. I mean, I'm just being totally honest here.
Well, I've had disagreements with Road Dogg in the past on Twitter. We had this, I'd say it was a very civil disagreement, because he's not the type to have all out arguments on Twitter, but we argued that wins and he said that wins and losses don't matter at all. And I was like, well, evidently that's the way you all think, because it's 50-50 booking all the time and nobody ever goes over. I mean, would it have hurt if Dean Ambrose would have just beaten Braun Strowman tonight? Would that have hurt anybody? Anything?
No. And that's, they're selling WrestleMania, bro. That's the thing. They're selling WrestleMania. Ambrose is the second biggest match. Would you not agree?
Oh yeah,
I guess the third biggest match. I guess.
Well, we did a poll. I'll pull up the poll results really quickly, and this is before Styles Jericho was announced and this fantastic ladder match was announced, which we'll get into later. But the poll that I conducted was, what announced WrestleMania match are you most looking forward to? Number 1 was Shane McMahon versus The Undertaker, 41%. Number 2, Dean Ambrose, Brock Lesnar, 29%. Number 3, Triple H Reigns at 12%, and that's only 1% more than the Divas match.
And they can't they can't give Ambrose a win 13 days out. It's
how
bro.
that would have been perfect. He beats a guy, he beats Braun Strowman, never been pinned. Why not? Why not use that on Dean Ambrose? He could have used it.
Bro, I don't know. Like I said, Sean, somebody, really, Road Dogg or anybody from the WWE, feel free to call me and tell me what I should be putting over.
Yeah. It's hard to believe that. I don't know how many writers WWE has. We hear it's over 20?
25 to 30 is what I hear.
Now, I understand that Lucha Underground and WWE are completely different formats, way different shows. But what, 2 or 3 people write that show, Vince?
Oh, if that. I was at Lucha. I saw with my own eyes. It was everything was in order. Everything, was boom, 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 boom. No chaos, no last minute changes. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, this was just filler all night long. It was filler. We'll start at the beginning. Oh, actually, there's something I wanted to ask you about before we get into Raw. Kind of big news this weekend. Bobby Roode and Eric Young leaving TNA. I actually had an interview scheduled with Eric Young, and I got an email last week, and he told me, hey, we'll have to reschedule. I'm going to go a little bit dark for a few weeks. Hope you understand. And I was like, yeah, sure. Then we hear this, and it made a lot of sense. So this is obviously something that he knew about probably last week if he was saying that. These are 2 guys who have been synonymous with TNA. And, maybe Eric Young's main event push didn't go the way people would have liked, but he is a very versatile guy. He has done comedy. He has done serious. He is versatile in and out of the ring, had successful television shows, has held virtually every championship the company has ever had, including all 4 versions of the television title, which is pretty crazy. Were you surprised to see these 2 guys leaving TNA?
No, not for the reasons they left. Sean, everything. People need to they really need to understand this from day one. I was there for a good part of 10 years. From day one, bro, everything comes down to money at TNA. Everything comes down to money. Bro, I was reading an article a couple of weeks ago, Jay Lethal, thought I was the reason that he was let go. And, I've since talked to him on Twitter and whatnot. And, a lot of guys, bro, were bitter about being let go and this and the other thing. Bro, guys are constantly let go of TNA for money purposes. It's all about money. But, Sean, here's the amazing thing. When you look back at when TNA was doing 2 million people, bro, the hottest thing we had going at the time was the Main Event Mafia and Jarrett and Angle. You had Sting, you had Jarrett, you had Angle, you had Booker, you had Kevin, you had Steiner, you had, a roster on TV that wrestling fans wanted to see. So what it really comes down to, Sean, is I hate to say this because it's so elementary, but you've got to spend money to make money. And they were paying those guys back then, and they were doing 2 million viewers. Now, literally everybody's gone. They can't afford to pay the Bobby Roodes and the Eric Youngs. And it's, everything with TNA revolves around money. So the fact that maybe Bobby and Eric were looking for a raise and they didn't get one, that does not surprise me at all. Plus the fact, bro, that Gaborik wants his own guys. He wants his own roster. John Gaborik, bro, was a vignette producer at WWE. He does not like people around that know more about wrestling than him. He does not like that. That's why I was cleared out. That's why Jarrett was cleared out. That's why Bischoff was cleared out. And, guys like Roode and Eric, they've been around for a long time and they know the business. John Gaborik has surrounded himself with newbies now, and that's all fine and well. but newbies are going to take a couple of years to get over. I don't know if TNA has a couple of years to get the newbies over, bro, to be honest with you.
It's astounding. And I love some of the pieces on their roster, but they just don't have the firepower anymore, like to even interest a lot of people. So many guys gone that help make that company. I'm not saying to keep those guys around forever, but some of them you needed to keep around for a lot longer than were there. And I mean, it's really weird. I mean, Magnus left for the same reason last year.
Yep.
And from what I understand, he had somewhat of an ironclad contract. It was really weird, the language that he explained to me he had in that contract. And he walked away from that just because it wasn't a good situation for him. So,
hey, Sean, I'll tell you right now, bro, I have no problem saying this. When I worked at TNA, they cut my salary. I got a salary. They cut my salary. And, you know, when I was there, bro, they were cutting everybody's salary. But back then, the only reason I allowed it to happen was I wanted to see them succeed. So, you know, I really did look at it like as a family. And you know what? If I got to take one on the chin for the future of the company, you know, I'll do that. But, you know, I mean, bro, they went from cutting salaries to, you know, being 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks behind paying the boys. Bro, these guys got families that they have to support. I mean, I was speaking to a TNA talent, you know, a couple of weeks ago, and it's still going on. They're still late with paying the boys. Bro, you can't do that. And, you know, it is what it is, bro, you know.
I'll never say that they'll die because somehow they always seem to stick around. I don't know how it happens, but they always seem to stick around, and I don't want to see anybody lose a job. So hopefully some miracle happens. But it's so funny, you know, that Road Dogg tweeted you that and said, well, don't say anything negative. You might lose your following. I wonder if people like that, and even the people who complain and say, well, you guys are too negative on the show. If wrestling does good, Vince Russo and I make more money. That's just how it works. If wrestling's awesome and they're drawing tens,
right, of course,
more people watch our shows.
And bro, not only that, if we were wrong, then the ratings would be thriving. If we were, we'd be the idiots. I mean, we'd be sitting here, you know, not putting over something that the masses were enjoying. That's not the case. You know, people are tuning out of this product in droves. Bro, I got to tell you, I'm really concerned with them after Mania. I mean, because now people are tuning in for Mania. Once Mania comes and goes, if they continue to put on this kind of a product, bro, I don't know who's going to watch it.
Yeah, I agree. And we'll start in on Raw in something we've never seen before. Stephanie McMahon kicked off the show with a promo, and in a shocking twist, Vince, Roman Reigns interrupted her.
Sean, what did I say on Nuclear Heat just 2 weeks ago when Stephanie and Triple H weren't good for business? I said Stephanie is not creative, and if you want to see why she's not creative, listen to her promos. Every promo is, this is my ring, Triple H is my husband, get out. That's exactly what she said to Reigns, bro. One right after another. Every line that I recited in my Nuclear Heat is exactly what she said. I can't believe, bro, this is supposed to be, let's call it the double main event. Let's call this the double main event. This was the double main event 13 days from WrestleMania. And, bro, that was as flat get. Sean, what did that segment accomplish? What did we get out of that segment?
I'll say that I liked Reigns' promo, but it's a promo he should have been cutting 2 years ago.
Yeah.
It was short, sweet. That was it. But it's too late. It's too late to do that.
Yeah.
It's too far gone. Later on, we saw Stephanie backstage and saying that she's going to get out of here. We also saw Triple H coming to pick her up. And there was this cool visual of the garage door opening up and Roman Reigns was standing there, which if he had any heat behind him whatsoever, I'm sure would have got a fantastic reaction. But he didn't. and he fought with Triple H. And somebody tweeted me and said, Triple H was in a tough spot. It's either get beat up by Reigns or be in a car with Stephanie. So decisions to make there.
Bro, can I ask you this? There's a couple of funny things about this, bro. Like, first of all, how funny was it that Triple H and Stephanie are leaving the building because they don't even want to see the rest of Raw, which I thought was hysterical. I mean, bro, right there, that's hysterical.
They booked that Braun Strowman match. They knew when to get out of Dodge, right?
They're leaving the building midway through because they can't even stand their own show. That's number one. Bro, how hard is this to do, Sean? How hard is this to do? Let Reigns get some heat on Triple H. Let him leave Triple H lying. Let him get in the car and take off with Stephanie. Like, how difficult is that? Like, a little mystery. Vince? A little mystery. Where is he going with Stephanie? Oh my God. Oh my God. A little mystery. Again, what was accomplished? Bro, when you look at last week's show and this week's show, how was that story at all advanced?
It
wasn't.
It wasn't.
It wasn't advanced at all. I mean, nothing. Well, there was no point for what they did this week with Reigns and Hunter. Nothing advanced the story. There was no point to it.
But kidnapping Vince, that's a little aggressive.
Absolutely, bro. At least now we got a mystery. We leave it open-ended. You know, I mean, my God, do something.
A little breaking news here, guys. Luke Harper got hurt. That sucks. That's a bummer. He got hurt. He apparently went down as soon as the match started in a dark match main event. It was the Wyatt family versus Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose, Dolph Ziggler, and Sami Zayn. Harper went down as soon as the match started and his knee buckled. He was checked on by trainers and then helped to the back. That sucks for Luke Harper. I can't imagine that there were major WrestleMania plans for him. But I really hope that, things, I hope somehow he has a big recovery, a quick recovery, miraculous recovery. Ty Dillinger from NXT, they thought his knee was all torn up, and as it turns out, he was back a couple weeks later. Hopefully that's the case with Harper.
Yeah, hope so.
But yeah, that's a bummer. We had AJ Styles versus Kevin Owens next. This, I thought, was a fantastic match. The ending left plenty to be desired, but I guess what did you think of it, Vince?
See, Sean, this is where I disagree with you about the fantastic. Sean, I got to tell you something. I'm flipping through the channels the other night. It was Thursday night. I didn't know there was nothing on. I see SmackDown. I'm like, okay, let me watch SmackDown for a couple of minutes, right? Because I like Rinaldi. So I'm watching SmackDown. The match was on between New Day and the League of Nations. Okay. Sean, what I'm watching was there was false finish. The match ended in a roll-up. I said, okay, I've seen enough. And I turned it off. I did not go back to SmackDown. They did the same exact thing. How can you have, bro, false finish after false finish after false finish of all these devastating moves and end the match in a roll-up? I don't get that. I mean, again, Road Dogg, is that something I'm supposed to put over? This was a great match with false finishes and great moves and guys kicking out for 15, 20 minutes, and the match ends in a roll-up. I'm not supposed to be sitting here saying WTF.
I agree. I mean, Kevin Owens has plenty of moves. Pop-up powerbomb could have finished him. Maybe AJ Styles ends up on, he's on the top rope or middle rope pointing out at Jericho, and he hits that awesome fisherman's buster that he does that I think should finish people. There are plenty of moves that he could do to finish AJ Styles. That happened on SmackDown, so maybe they were trying to stay away from that, but I still don't think it's an excuse after all they went through. I mean, AJ Styles had a 260-pound man on his shoulder in a torture rack and powerbombed him. Probably because of that DDP yoga he does, but either way, I agree.
Yeah, Sean, that's where they lose the credibility to the masses. To the non wrestling fans. I mean, because somebody's watching that and saying, wait a minute, all those things didn't beat the guy and you beat him with a roller. I mean, that's what people see. And like I said, bro, that they just did the same exact thing on SmackDown. I mean, what, 4 days ago? Same exact thing.
Why can't they ever save matches like this for pay-per-view events? Like, these two guys obviously wanted to go all out, and they did. And it's clear they can have a good match, but why not ever do it for the first time on pay-per-view?
Because, bro, there are no stories. They have no stories, so they have to rely on putting good matches together. The matches are dictating the show. That's exactly why, bro.
Also, I'm going to ask you, do you think New Day was just straight up told before their promo, go out there and kill some time?
Oh, my God, bro. This was atrocious. I mean, bro, when you're making fun of a guy's feet, like, I wrote back to Road Dogg during this. I'm like, okay, bro, you want me to put this over compared to DX's shtick back in the day. You want me to actually put over, they're making fun of a guy's feet and they're making fun of a guy's name. I'm going to sit here and put that over. Bro, it was horrible. It was terrible. It wasn't funny. It was stupid. Oh my God, bro, please. I mean, I guess the kids like New Day, bro. I guess whatever. But as a grown adult man watching this, it was atrocious.
Somebody in our comments says, guys are killing each other to get over with zero creative. I agree. Creative's not helping these guys. And we saw Big E literally almost kill himself with that dive. That dive is terrifying. I don't know if you saw it, but he landed right on his face on the outside of the ring. Yeah. He's going to get hurt doing that. It's a spectacular move. It's a breathtaking move. But for a nothing match with Rusev on Raw that was going way too long, that was terrifying. I did kind of like how they got the crowd to chant shame at League of Nations. That was it. It was one good line in a bunch of, I can't even say mediocrity because it wasn't even mediocre. It was bad. It was not good. I mean, these guys don't have to talk every single week. They're good at talking, but they don't have to do it every single week.
And sure, not only that, but like I said, I saw the combination on SmackDown. We see all the guys out there tonight. I mean, why do we care about this Mania match at all? It's all we've been seeing for the last 2 or 3 weeks. There's nothing special about the match they're going to have at WrestleMania.
Yeah, I agree. Well, the only thing, and I'm surprised they haven't used it, is that forever New Day has had the numbers advantage, and now they don't. But they've not mentioned that one time. Yeah, that New Day has the roles reversed now. Also, I don't think it helped New Day that League of Nations was actively like burying the segment outside. That probably couldn't have helped.
Yeah.
We also had a Todd Crisley cameo. Were you psyched about this?
Oh, yeah. Big time.
I don't know what in the hell we did as a species to deserve this.
Yeah.
But it was a Snickers plug. Again, shameless plugs on TV. Like, I don't understand it. Like, if they got on there and they were like, hey, guys, go to WrestlingInc.com/on-it, save 10% on Alpha Brain, which can make you a super genius because guys like Triple H take it. Guys like Cesaro take it. Guys like Seth Rollins, Stone Cold Steve Austin, DDP himself take it. And if you don't like Alpha Brain, which is fantastic, it increases focus, memory, all that good stuff. You can send it back, get your money back, and get it at WrestlingInc.com/on-it. Get a free brain health protocol ebook. If they said something like that, I would understand. Like, go to WrestlingInc.com/on-it, save 10%. Understandable. But Snickers, I don't understand it. I don't get it. Maybe even do a tie-in plug with a guy like DDP, who's a former WCW champion. You could go to ddpyoga.com/wrestlinginc and get a great deal on the Max Pack. We saw AJ Styles, who is how tall? How much does AJ Styles weigh? Do you know?
Oh gosh, bro, he can't weigh over 200.
Okay, he lifted Kevin Owens.
Yeah, that was very impressive. Yeah, a small elephant. Yes,
in a torture rack.
Yes, he did.
And power bombed him.
Yeah, yes.
And a few months ago, they weren't sure if he was going to make it to Ring of Honor Final Battle to wrestle. They didn't know if he was going to make it to Wrestle Kingdom 10 and wrestle because he had back problems. Well, he did DDP yoga. His back got better. And yours can too if you go to ddpyoga.com/wrestling inc. Not BSing you guys. Fantastic product. I've used it myself when recovering from an injury a few years ago. Really like it. Also, DDP will be at WrestleMania or he'll be there in Dallas WrestleMania Sunday for a DDP yoga workshop. He's trying to make it the biggest ever. They already have, I think, between 70 and 80 people confirmed. They're trying to get up to 151 to make it the biggest they've ever done. Go to ddpyoga.com to check out his appearances page and find out more about that. Also, The Resurrection of Jake the Snake available on Vudu, Amazon, PlayStation Network, Google Play, iTunes. Fantastic documentary, has gotten rave reviews. ddpyoga.com/wrestling inc. The nerve, the balls on these guys to do a Snickers promo right in the middle of a show, Vince.
Yeah, well, bro, they can't write creative storylines. They're going to figure out a creative way to do product placement. Come on.
Yes, somebody called me shameless. Shameless plug, Sean Ross Sapp. You're right. Hey, guys, it's the reason we're able to do these shows, just so you know. Next up, we had the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal segment, which was the Big Show and Kane beating up the Social Outcasts. Vince, your thoughts on this?
Bro. I watched this segment and I'm like, okay, again, Road Dogg. Like, what am I supposed to call this segment riveting? Like, I mean, was this riveting television, bro, that we just couldn't take our eyes off of? Oh my, bro, let's just go on to the next thing, bro, please. Because, bro, we can't say anything good about this stuff. So, like, let's just go to the next thing.
You know what? I can't disagree here. This was nothing. We had these Shane McMahon videos that they showed throughout.
Highlight of the show.
I agree.
Yes.
Very good stuff.
Very good stuff.
They had Henzo Gracie, a lot of MMA trainers that they showed in these as well. Shane has been doing some Muay Thai training with some legit guys, and apparently, like I said, training with Henzo Gracie as well. What'd you think of these?
I thought it was a highlight of the show. Both of them. They really set up this match nice. I really enjoyed this. And bro, the more and more and more I was watching this, I just kept saying to myself, I pray to God that Shane does not get hurt. Because, bro, he's going to go in that ring like he's 30 years old all over again. And he's not. I mean, he's got a 30-year-old brain and he's got a 46-year-old body. And I just pray to God that Shane knows his limitations and he does not hurt himself in this match because, bro, the guy is going to go balls to the wall. You could see it in these training videos. And, as much as he wants to do that, he has a body that's probably a step behind. But these two packages to me were the absolute highlight of the show. The only good things on the show tonight, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I really like these vignettes. I thought they did a great job of building up Shane, rather. Yep. It's something that I felt they probably should have done a couple of weeks ago, but let's be real, this show needed it. It really needed this.
Yep.
Somebody says Shane will tear both quads. That's an unusual assessment, but it's possible. Somebody says Sean killed TNA. Buddy, I can't take credit for that one. Fifth Harmony is going to perform at WrestleMania. Vince, are you a big Fifth Harmony fan?
Seriously, do you know who they are?
I don't, and I tweeted that, and I had a lot of angry people. Like, I don't know who they are.
I've never heard that.
I think I've heard one of their songs on the radio. Apparently, they were on X Factor. And a lot more people watch that show than I thought.
I've never heard that. I've never heard that group in my life.
I was waiting, I had said that I guess they couldn't get 3LW or Black, which I'm sure you know who those fantastic former female groups are as well. But yeah, I mean, sure, I'm sure they'll do fine singing the national anthem or America the Beautiful or God Bless America or whatever they're doing. Good for them. we had Kevin Owens come out and introduce the 3 people that he was bringing out to compete for his Intercontinental title. And I'll say this, he was funny. Sin Cara did the little trampoline thing, and Kevin Owens saw him and just said, "Wow!" I thought that was pretty funny, and he introduced these guys with great enthusiasm. That's where the entertaining stopped, because Ziggler, Zayn, and The Miz came out, interrupted the match, had it thrown out. And, we were expecting Zayn, Ziggler, Miz, Owens. Oh, no. Oh, no. That's not it, Vince. We got the whole Dork parade in this match, a ladder match. And Stardust, Zack Ryder, Sin Cara, all in the match. Now, I'll say that I'll play devil's advocate for about 0.2 seconds. Zack Ryder has been having some fantastic matches on Superstars. What does that mean? Nothing. Doesn't mean anything. Good for him. He's having good matches on Superstars. Think he should be in an Intercontinental title ladder match at Mania events?
Sean, I cannot, pardon my French, I cannot believe we're 13 days from Mania and they're pulling matches out of their absolute arse. Somebody pull this match out of their freaking ass. Bro, we're 13 days from WrestleMania. I mean, Sean, I don't know how old you were. Were you around for WrestleMania 3?
I mean, I wasn't coherent.
Okay, well, I was. Bro, Andre, Hulk Hogan, bro, you would not believe the anticipation when they first set foot into the same ring, bro. When they were standing in the ring together, face to face, the buildup, bro. And bro, I was a grown man. I was not a kid. I'm 55 years old. Do the math. I was a grown man. The freaking anticipation for a fake wrestling match was unbelievable. Here we are, bro, like 13 days away, and you're going to pull matches out of your ass. And then Road Dogg's going to sit there and tell me, oh, I need to put things over. Okay, bro, tell me how to put over this match, and I'll put it over.
And somebody says they had to. Neville was injured. The hell they had to. I mean, I did a poll, and I said, who should be in this match? And they haven't done a good enough job of building up Sami Zayn to put it just him and Owens. I would have loved for them to have done that. I would have loved for it to have been justified to do Zayn versus Owens. I've been begging for it for months, but they didn't build him that way. But Zayn or Ziggler and Miz were stretching it. That was stretching it. But Ryder, Sin Cara, and Stardust, I love Stardust as, I love Cody Rhodes. He's usually really damn good. Sin Cara's talented. Zack Ryder was once a very, very over person. Those days are gone, at least at that level. We're getting a one-on-one Kalisto versus Ryback match, Vince.
Sean, I will tell you this, bro. I will tell you this, okay? And here's where, I am going to play devil's advocate for a moment. Bro, I worked for a lot of companies, and when you get to the biggest show of the year, Sean, you like to get everybody on it. You just like to. You like to get as many people on WrestleMania as possible. It's like doing the right thing, bro. It's the Super Bowl for the roster. But I mean, bro, try to make some sense out of it.
There's a battle royal for that, though.
Yeah, whatever. That's what I'm saying. Make some kind of sense out of it. I mean, I got it, bro. They want to put everybody on the card. Okay, great. Good for you. Please try to make some sense out of it, bro. Don't just pull WrestleMania matches out of your freaking ass. Bro, this is why, and I've said it before, WrestleMania has become the Super Bowl. It doesn't matter what the matches are anymore. They've created a spectacular, and they've created an event. And people from around the world go to WrestleMania. They're buying into the name. It's almost like the match doesn't matter anymore. How could people be paying any money to see 75% of the matches on this card? How?
I don't have an answer for you. I don't have an answer for you. There is a battle royal to get everybody on the card. I do not doubt that this will be an entertaining match. I'm positive it will be a fantastic car crash of a match. I know it will be. Where about probably 80% of the people have no chance of winning it. I don't know. Stan Hansen's going into the Hall of Fame. Vince, your thoughts?
Yeah, no, he would. Now that's Stan Hansen was a wrestler. I mean, I love Stan Hansen. I remember Hansen back in the day. This was a guy that, back in the day, bro, when you watched wrestling, you would watch a wrestling show and you would be afraid of everybody. You would know that everybody on that show would kill you. And Hansen was one of those guys, just a real tough guy. Played his character and his gimmick to a T. I'm really glad, bro, he's going into the Hall of Fame. He could have been one of those guys that could have easily been forgotten because it's been a long time. But I'm thrilled to death he's going in the Hall of Fame.
He was a little before my time, but I went back and watched some of his stuff. A brute,
yes,
dude.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
Yes.
Also ran over the AWA title and sent it back to them, which I hope they bring up. I hope they present him with the. I think maybe Jerry Lawler has that, or I'm trying to think of who has that. Somebody I remember on a documentary said that they have that. Hopefully they do that. Natalya versus Charlotte with Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks on commentary. I'm like I said, like is the case with most WrestleMania matches. I'm sure the match will be good. I thought Sasha and Becky were not very good on commentary. Natalya is an extremely talented wrestler. It makes me wonder why she's not doing anything as of right now in WrestleMania, because she's unbelievable as a wrestler. Ric Flair is still a fantastic heel manager. Like I said, the match I think will be good, but Becky and Sasha argue and bicker like middle schoolers, and I think it takes away a little bit.
That's exactly what I was feeling, Sean. They were arguing like over, who beat who and was it? I mean, that's the way you described it was exactly how it came across to me, Sean. But I gotta be honest with you, bro. Sometimes when we look at this show, Sean, like sometimes I feel like an idiot, and I want to get your play on this because, Sean, when I'm sitting here and I'm listening to this. My only logic to this is, okay, Vince, this show is not written for you. This show is written for kids. This show is written for 12, 13, 14-year-old kids that kind of bicker like this in middle school. It's not written for you because, bro, if it were written for us, this entire show would be absolutely ridiculous, bro. But then again, the show's on from 8 to 11 o'clock at night, bro. That's when guys like us are watching TV. That's what makes no sense. That makes absolutely no sense. But Sean, do you ever feel that way where it's like you're sitting there and it's just so below like your grade level that you have to say, all right, this just is not written for me?
And I want it to be so bad. I want these stories. I want like next week, the whole show to tie in every loose end that they've ever had and me to be like, oh my gosh, they had me this whole time and I don't feel like I wasted my time. But that's not going to happen. And a part of me feels like, am I sexist or something? If this conversation between Becky and Sasha were happening between two dudes, but I'd be like, this is fantastic. It's not bickering at all. No, I wouldn't be.
No.
And I had somebody say, and I love Becky Lynch. She's one of my favorite performers on the roster. Love Sasha Banks. I think she's had some outstanding matches. People are like, oh, well, Becky carried this, and nobody has carried anything in this. It's been just okay.
Sean, you got to understand something, and I tell you this all the time. I say this. There is a way to protect your talent. Sean, in that type of situation, put a headset on Becky, put a headset on Sasha, bro, have a writer, assigned to each one and feed them the verbiage during their commentary. That's what you have writers for, bro. I did that for dozens of times when I knew when I knew we wanted to put somebody on commentary to make the match interesting and keep people tuned in because something might happen and I knew they were weak verbally. You put a headset on them and you feed them lines, bro. That's what you do. And, these girls, again, bro, they're not seasoned veterans. They were on NXT a year ago. You've got to take these girls on your wing. You got to teach them. You got to produce them. You got to help them get better. You can't throw them out there on a live television show and expect a fabulous moolah. You're not going to get that, bro. You got to protect these girls.
I think there's a lot of people that need protecting on this show and aren't. It's weird. They protect. I don't know. It's hard for me to put it into words. Like they're worried about protecting Braun Strowman's win-loss record, but not the guys who already are there and need that protecting of their win-loss record, or the women that they're putting in this match. They don't go over how they should be protected. That's unusual.
I mean, bro, if I'm a writer. And, bro, first of all, we have to assume nobody wrote the New Day stuff. Because if writers were involved in that, every single one of them should be fired tomorrow morning. So let's assume New Day came up with that stuff on their own. As the writer and producer, I'm going up to those guys in the back, and I'm saying to them, all right, what do you guys have? Let me hear it. And then they're going to give me their promo. And I'm going to stand there and I'm going to say, you really want to make fun of Rusev's feet? Like you guys really think that's fun? But bro, nobody's protecting these guys. Nobody. And that's where I go freaking ballistic, man. They were supposed to be writers. They're supposed to be producers. You're supposed to be protecting the freaking talent, not making them go out there and fail miserably.
I agree. I'm with you. Next up, we had the Vince McMahon announcement. He called Undertaker his bitch. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, bro. You watch when this thing ends with Shane McMahon, and nothing is done to Vince McMahon. Nothing. He just called Taker a bitch, bro. This happened. I don't know if you remember this or not, Sean. I don't think I was doing the show with you guys yet, but remember when Taker got into the a program with Lesnar? What was the big event there?
The Undertaker Lesnar thing?
Yeah, what was that?
Well, it's they had like this like face-to-face confrontation.
No, but what was the match?
What do you mean? The
last match where Taker gave the last big match.
Good gosh, I can't even remember. Last year?
Yeah, whatever. Here's my
they had the double finish and all that.
Yeah, all that stuff. They had everything. But bro, here's the point. Freaking Heyman ran Taker down in the ring like it was nobody's freaking business. And Undertaker never got to come back. Never said a word, never did anything to Paul Heyman. Bro, this is how characters lose credibility. And it's the same thing here. Vince McMahon is going to stand there and call The Undertaker his bitch. If The Undertaker doesn't have any comeuppance, then you've managed to hurt The Undertaker's thing. And bro, here's another thing. Let's jump ahead of ourselves. Sean, we have this segment with let's jump ahead to Ambrose and Strowman. Okay, and Heyman's on color. Okay, now, Sean, I'm giving you this stuff off the top of my head. I don't waste 5 minutes thinking about it. I really, really don't. We saw a beautiful segment in the back last week with Mick Foley and Dean Ambrose. Would you agree that was a good set? And Foley passes the torch. He gives him the bat with the barbed wire. Yeah. Right? Okay, now, bro, is there or is there not a history between Paul Heyman and Mick Foley?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, well, if
Terry Funk.
And Terry Funk. Thank you. If I'm Heyman and I have a history with these guys, and now all of a sudden they're presenting a bat with barbed wire and a chainsaw to Dean Ambrose, who's going up against my client. Bro, how great would that promo not have been, an in-ring promo with Heyman and Foley and Heyman and Foley? And how great would that not have been, bro? But what do? They have Heyman sitting there at the end of the match. Ambrose does nothing to him, and all Heyman could say is, I'm just the advocate. I'm just the advocate. And Road Dogg wants me to sit here and put the show over.
Yeah, I mean
come on, bro. You use your freaking imaginations, man.
Last week you had mentioned that Paul Heyman, kind of did the same promo every week. Well, you add in those two other factors that you mentioned, Mick Foley and Dean Ambrose, and it becomes something different. Or Terry Funk, which I don't know if they trust Terry Funk in front of a live mic, and that's understandable. By the way, Terry Funk passed on the chainsaw. What did you think about that?
I thought that was good. I mean, I enjoyed that. Was the two Shane things in that I enjoyed the most. But listen, Sean, would a Mick Foley, Paul Heyman showdown promo, would that have not been the best thing on this show tonight, far and away?
Without a doubt. By the way, did you see the promos he did that Ambrose did, the vignettes in Cincinnati?
I did see a couple of them on SmackDown, yes.
I know you're a baseball fan. I got to ask you. I'm a Reds fan.
Oh, bro.
It's sad. I know. I'm hoping that they pull like some or late 2000s Devil Rays thing out of their hat, or maybe a Cubs thing, and they
listen,
miraculously get 90.
From me to you, don't have any hope in the Reds this year. I mean, not even a glimmer.
I'll ask you this question.
Yes.
They won 64 games last year. Do you think they win more or less than last year? And they've gotten rid of Chapman and Cueto and all these guys. Because it's hard to lose 100 games.
It is, bro.
You almost have to try.
It's going to be hard to lose more than 64 games.
Yeah. Hey, I'll be happy if they improve on that. I'll be happy. Yeah, this is a bad period for my Reds. But Dean Ambrose did a really cool vignette at Great American Ballpark. Mm-hmm. He did several good around Cincinnati, and as you know, I'm a Cincinnati guy, so of course I'm gonna pop for something like that. I thought that was really cool.
I enjoyed the heck out of those.
He is beloved in this area, and it's a shame because he wasn't so beloved before that. Everybody wants to love him now that he's a famous guy, but admittedly, I barely knew who he was when he wrestled around here, oftentimes in front of 15 or 20 people, going through light tubes and things like that. That's another reason this match with Lesnar intrigues me. This is a guy who used to go through, like I said, light tubes and thumbtacks and all this stuff for $20. Imagine what he's willing to do at WrestleMania when he's earning six figures.
Hey, Sean, I got to ask you a question because I'm not going to lie to you, bro. I did not watch the Ambrose Strowman match from bell to bell. I was watching the finish of Teen Mom.
Lucky you.
Yeah. But I have to ask you this, bro. Did Heyman mention Foley giving the bat and Funk giving the chain? Did he even mention it?
I don't know. I was kind of zoning out of that as well. I was setting up the post and everything for this. Because it was a terrible match, I'll tell you that much.
Bro, how could that not have been part of the story? Both guys worked for Heyman. I mean, he's got a relationship. I mean, how was that not part of the story, bro? What was Mick Foley booked for tonight?
If anybody in the comment section can help us out, was that brought up? Somebody says you are at 99 bros tonight, Vince. Do you want to?
Bro, there it is. 100, baby.
Somebody said brogasm. People saying we did it.
Yeah.
They are popping in the YouTube comments section.
I said 100 bros tonight, or somebody just kidding around?
No, that they've been keeping account, Vince.
That's great, bro. I'm proud of myself.
While saying that I look Amish because of the shave, guys, I thought I was gonna have to get stitches this weekend, so I had to shave. Fortunately, I didn't. It was just, now I've got a baby face, and I'm gonna
bust it open or something, bro.
Yeah, a little bit. Trained a little bit, but
fiance.
No. You know what? It's funny. I trained for pretty regularly for 3 or 4 years. Never had like any major injuries or anything. I sparred like one time, just teaching my fiance some basic kickboxing, and she chipped my tooth.
Are you?
Yeah, I've been in there with people who have fought in the UFC, in Bellator, pro fighters. Nothing like that ever happened.
What,
and
with a fist?
No, it was like one of the accidental headbutts. Like it just kind of came up and caught the bottom of my jaw, and I was like, "Wow!"
Oh my god!
And I didn't realize it until later. Yeah, it chipped my tooth. I thought it was. She's very proud of that accomplishment as well.
Good for her, bro. Good
for her. She's actually a pretty decent kickboxer, but that's beside the point. What was not decent? Dean Ambrose, Braun Strowman. This was a stinker. This sucked. This is boring chants from the crowd.
And bro, why would listen? I understand it's Philly, it's this, it's that. You're trying to build Dean Ambrose. Why would Dean Ambrose not put his hands on Paul Heyman?
He did this thing where he was like right next to him, but that was it. Okay, bro, because he's in Philly and they would have booed him. How could he be that close to Heyman with Lesnar not there and not put his hands on Heyman? Also, somebody says Heyman did not mention Foley on commentary, which is an injustice.
Exactly. Does that make any sense, bro? He's giving him a barbed wire baseball bat to use against Lesnar, and Heyman does not even mention that. That's what I mean, bro. And I'm supposed to sit here and put this show over.
Also, I want to ask you, who has the higher batting average this year, Dean Ambrose or Jay Bruce?
Oh, bro. Jay Bruce, what a disappointment, huh, bro?
I shouldn't have brought it up.
Bro, he had such promise when he broke up with them, when he came up with them, and my gosh, man.
Yeah, still making $10 million a year.
I feel sorry for Votto, bro.
And they lost Frazier, too. Oh, he was the heart of the team.
Yeah.
So sad. Enough baseball talk. Me and Vince will talk baseball on our own sometime, but this Raw, Vince, nothing special.
I'm giving it a half.
A half a star?
Yeah, I'm not even giving it a full star, bro, because
there
were the two packages and there was Funk and Ambrose, period. That's it. That's all there was in the 3 hours. That's it. You could have missed the rest of this show 13 days before WrestleMania and missed absolutely nothing.
Also, Vince, well, somebody said talk about TNA guys leaving. We did that at the beginning of the show, guys. Pay attention.
Bro, I'm going to give a cheap plug. Tomorrow, VinceRussoBrand.com. EY interview.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Eric Young is always a really, really good interview.
Great guy.
Very, very interesting. And there's no shortage of things to talk about with Eric Young, even when it's not about this type of situation.
Yeah.
So that's pretty awesome.
Great.
Usually, Vince, we boot you off and talk a little MMA, but this one I think you could maybe lend a little bit to. Ken Shamrock tested positive for nandrolone and methadone. A shocker to you.
Wait, what, recently or before the last fight?
For the Hoist Gracie fight, yeah.
Okay, tell me what those two things do.
Nandrolone is an anabolic steroid, a very common anabolic steroid. Very, very common. Methadone is used to treat, it's either an opiate or used to treat opiate. It's used to treat people who are heroin addicts, basically.
Did he comment on that?
No, I reached out to him for a comment and I haven't heard back from him, which is very uncharacteristic of him. Usually he's very quick to say something, but this he didn't. Now I'm not saying that he's on heroin or anything like that, but he tested positive for methadone.
Wow, bro, what do you say? All I could say is this, bro. Believe it or not, I did watch that fight, and bro, how old is he now? 53, Sean?
Yeah, 53, I think.
Yeah, I was blown away by the shape he was in, but since I know Shamrock, I wasn't surprised. I looked at him. Yeah, I looked at him like, yeah, he can do that. That's doable for Ken. So I wasn't surprised the kind of shape he was in. But yeah, I hate to hear this.
And he's an admitted steroid user. He has not made a secret about it. It's not like some big revelation or anything, but I heard him on Steve Austin's podcast, and he sounded like he was in such a better place. And it's hard to say that there's an excuse for the methadone thing. I don't know. Also, Kimbo Slice tested positive for nandrolone. Not a shocker. So, putting this in perspective, did you watch that fight as well?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so I'm going to put this in perspective, you guys. Because Kimbo failed that drug test, the victory was overturned. So he doesn't get that victory anymore. It's a no contest. So Dada 5000, worst fighter I've ever seen. Without a doubt, a significant portion of the people in our YouTube comments could find a way to beat him in a fight. And I mean that wholeheartedly. I'm not picking on you guys. I mean it seriously. He's the worst fighter I've ever seen. And I've seen a lot of.
I have to ask you a question, bro. Hold on a minute. You said because he tested positive,
yes,
that the verdict was overturned.
The victory over Dada overturned. No
but
contest.
Bro, what about people that bet on the fight?
That's a good question. I don't know how that's affected.
Bro, people in Vegas ain't going to be bringing their money back to the casinos anytime soon.
I need to look into that and see what would happen.
Yeah, what would happen, bro?
Somebody says Dada would kick your ass, Sean. I doubt it. I doubt he would beat up. Let's see. Whoever made that comment, you know what? Even though you insulted me, I have more faith in you, buddy. So Dada 5000, worst fighter I've ever seen in my life. His heart literally stopped. So he technically died. So think of this. He technically died against a man on steroids in the worst fight of all time, the worst fighter of all time, and still technically didn't lose.
Wow. So, bro, so Shamrock would have lost that fight anyway, despite the controversy.
Shamrock, he would. Well, he wouldn't have won it no matter what. Even if he were to have won that fight, it would have been overturned to a no contest. So I don't know if he's still. I also asked him if he was pursuing the overturn of the decision, because the best that could be done anyway was it be overturned to a no contest. I don't know if he's still pursuing that. Somebody says Shamrock versus Sean. No way. Shamrock would kick my ass. Anybody else on that card would kick everybody's ass that I'm speaking to. Dada 5000 is the worst fighter I've ever seen in my life, without a doubt. It's not even close either. I see amateurs on a daily basis who get beaten in like 2 minutes, and they're better than him. It was really bad. If you all haven't seen that fight, I highly encourage you to go watch it, at least for entertainment. I asked Dan Severn to break that fight down, and he laughed hysterically. To get Dan Severn to laugh, that's not easy. That's not easy to do.
No, it's not.
It's not. Vince, tell them about the brand before we go.
Yeah, everybody, 7 days of video podcasting a week. Check us out on VinceRussoBrand.com. Tomorrow, exclusive with EY. Should be really, really interesting. Him and I go way back. I remember the very first day he showed up at TNA. So we're going to have a lot to talk about.
Vince, I'll have you answer like a question or two with me real quick before I have you go. Who do you think will have the most interesting WrestleMania entrance?
Probably Triple H.
I think if New Day gets what they were pushing, they might. Did you hear about that?
No, what is that?
They wanted to fly unicorns around the arena.
Oh, my gosh, bro. Well,
would you be excited to see that?
Yeah, I would. I mean, actually, I'd definitely be more excited to see that than their match.
Yes. Let's see. Didn't Sean have a new letter or email in regards to Severn's new comments on Shamrock? Yeah, Severn is not happy that Shamrock pulled out. Also, super pissed that he failed a drug test. So Severn isn't happy. He came out of retirement for that fight and didn't get it. That's a shame. Does the new stipulation that the Undertaker will be at his last WrestleMania if he loses make you more interested in the match, Vince?
No.
Did it change your idea of who might win it?
No.
And who do you think is going to win it, by the way?
I think Shane will.
Interesting. And here's the thing that I was wondering: how would Vince have any say in that if Shane won?
What do you mean?
Wouldn't he have some sense of control and be able to say, well, Undertaker can wrestle at WrestleMania? Or I guess he's just in control of Raw, so maybe not.
Yeah, Raw.
Will Vince Russo be wearing a Wrestling Inc. shirt during his autograph session in Dallas?
Yeah, if you cheapskates get me one, I'd be happy to wear it.
Don't yell at me. Raj
Well,
doesn't
tell
send me
Raj
mine.
to let the morts out of the pockets, bro. I'll proudly wear a Wrestling Inc. shirt. Proudly wear it, bro.
I'm still waiting on mine. Onnit sends me stuff all the time. I'm still waiting on my Wrestling Inc. shirt. I've been here for about 2 years now.
Yeah.
Somebody says Ken Shamrock just should have taken Onnit. You know what? It won't pop you for a drug test. That is a fact. Okay. Last question, Vince. Hulk Hogan Gawker verdict. What are your thoughts on that?
Bro, listen.
Well, wait, weren't you sued by him once?
Yeah. I was sued.
Great.
I was sued for defamation of character because I cut a promo on the Hulk Hogan character in a wrestling ring during a pay-per-view. Bro, I don't even want to. I can't even comment on that, bro.
Okay, well, can I get your comment on Bubba the Love Sponge? What do you think of him? Did you think that was a good hire in TNA?
Bro, do you know something? I don't even know if you know this, Sean. Do you know I saved Bubba the Love Sponge's life?
Was it when he got his ass kicked by Kong?
Yeah, I pulled Kong off Bubba.
I was the first-hand account. Please tell us the first-hand account.
Bro, I was the first one on the scene, and I pulled her off Bubba, bro. And she was wailing on him, bro. He was doing one of these gimmicks, bro. She was doing literally wailing on him, bro. I made the big save.
Whoo! And
yeah.
Was he very liked backstage?
No.
I didn't think so because he wasn't liked on the screen. I mean, there were just a lot of weird hires. Somebody else that says Sean versus Awesome Kong. No, she beat me up too.
Yeah, bro. She
would just corpse me. She would destroy me. She would beat Dada 5000. I have no doubts.
Yeah.
Matt Morgan once told me that the hardest he's been hit in a ring was by Kong.
I believe that.
So yeah. But guys, we will answer more questions on Thursday's Wrestling Inc. podcast. We will also be here Wednesday night at 10 to do non-Raw stuff like TNA, Ring of Honor. We'll have some fun stuff to talk about with TNA, NXT, that good stuff. Back on Thursday at 10. Next week, the podcast schedule switches up. Our Wednesday show will be after NXT TakeOver Dallas. That'll be a very late show. Should be interesting. Absolutely check out the brand. Check out WrestlingInc.com/onit, ddpyoga.com/WrestlingInc. Vince, anything to leave the fans with today?
Nuclear Heat on Thursday. I'll be back with that right here on Wrestling Inc.
Absolutely. Check out last week's too. Very good stuff there. But we will catch you guys later. Thank you for the support so much, you guys.